Hi, welcome to another Interstellar Prime update video. So, pick up where we left off from the last video where we just landed to the Mars city, the Martian city, and now we are in the train station after we landed from the shuttle. So this is kind of a transition and kind of give you an idea of the scale of the game and kind of like the concept of where the direction of the development will be in terms of the realism and like the immersiveness of the game. So as you can see here, it's still empty. There's not a lot of NPC, but we do have some NPCs inside of this train. So they're just passengers. We just kind of use a rough, crude model that we quickly put it in there just for a placeholder. So here we are in full scale. We are traveling from that port city. We name it Musk City after Elon Musk. If it's legal to do that, I'll keep it that name, but if it's not, I might have to change the name. So I don't know how Elon Musk feels about that and having his name on in a video game reference like that. I don't know how legal stuff work, but anyway, if we're okay, we'll keep it that way. But for now, we'll call it the Musk City. And now we're traveling from that port city, which is where you travel between the surface and the orbit. So now we're getting into the industrial part of the planet. This is where the water is generated. This is where a lot of people work and live, and this is where a lot of your mission is going to be. And this is also connecting to the large tunnel network inside Mars that you can explore in the full release, and that will hopefully we have a snippet of that in the early access that's coming in this December. So here we are. We are in Copernicus. This is a city that's like mentioned before, where you can get a lot of missions, and I kind of aim this to be similar to Fallout 4 gameplay, where you just kind of walk around and get missions. So the plane just left there, the train just left there. But yes, you can actually travel to different cities through trains. And I plan on to have like a free roam mode as well in this game, where you can just go out into the Martian wilderness if you can purchase correct spacesuit, a combat spacesuit, and also the vehicle that you will need in order to survive in the Martian environment, unpressurized Martian environment, if I may add. And here we go. This is the underground city with the artificial sky, artificial light, and all that stuff, and it still needs to be populated with NPCs. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk around here a little bit, just kind of show you around real quick what we have so far. So these little tunnels are not completed, but this is where you can actually go out to an unconstructed part of the tunnels, which is pretty much old lava tubes inside Mars that you can explore in the game, that you can go in and kind of like do missions, fight enemies, do discoveries, find artifacts to uncover more of the game, and so on. And here we are at the residential area. This is where people live, and you can eventually buy an apartment here, and you can actually kind of have an apartment and upgrade it and so on, just kind of like in Fallout. And this is one of the water plants or chemical plants in the game, which I will have that later on fully developed for when you come in here, and then you kind of talk to the manager. Which, by the way, that what you just saw there, the gravity it's accurate to Mars right now. It's like a third or something from Earth, but that's why what you saw there when I kind of drop from the stairs and it kind of slowly falls. And that kind of brings another topic of this game. We're going to try to have that gravity aspect into the game. Like if you're on the moon, you'll be using the moon gravity, unless you're using the G compensator that covered in the previous video of you know, your suit kind of push you down towards the asteroid, since there's no gravity or very little gravity. Anyway, this is under construction. This is part of the full story mode. You go in there and you put in a special suit, and then you help with some missions to expand the city. And then there's some like kind of like raiders type problem going on, where you have this pirate type of group that are just kind of rogue on its own and go and around cause trouble and rob, you know, develop cities. So that's just kind of part of the story that's to come. Anyway, here we are at Millennium Inn. This is, if you don't have a house or an apartment purchased in the residential area, this is where you can come. In the first part of the game, if you may, in the full story mode, not so much in the sandbox that you would really need this, but in the full release, you're gonna have to come in and stay in this hotel in order to, you know, just so that you don't have to, because in the game you will need to sleep and all that stuff. I'll get into that later on, but as you can see here, you can talk to the NPC, some of them, and you can kind of mess around here a little bit and, you know, kind of talk to the person. So anyway, let's get out of here and move on forward with the rest of the game. So in the full release, you can actually go out here and go to a different shop and then buy different gears, like weapons, armor that's approved for Mars, and also eventually a vehicle that you can go out in those wilderness and then explore. So that's the plan here. And here we are in the hotel. As mentioned earlier, you're gonna need to sleep. Really, that's where you save your game, but also you're gonna need, there's gonna be a health meter and nutrients, radiation. There's going to be a survival aspect to this game as well, that you have to kind of consider. So this is kind of like the detail example of the detail we want to put into this game. It's kind of show it to you that, yeah, we want to make this game as immersive as it can be. And now you can sleep and save the game and refresh, and there's a view of the city, of the Musk City that we just took the train from. And in order to go back to space, of course, you have to buy a ticket and then get into the shuttle and get back to Remnant City, where your main ship is docked. But at all times, you can actually communicate to your crew back in the Serendipity, and you can actually get their help and support and all that stuff. And then eventually in the wilderness part of the game, which is, you know, you have to buy a command truck, if you will, that you kind of have to live off of, but that's going to be really expensive. So you have to do a lot of missions and gather a lot of resources in order to be able to afford that. But once you have it, the gameplay, like covered last year's video game in our earlier conceptual video, I think that we had, or earlier update videos, I kind of showed you how you can actually have RTS mode in the planetary mission. So there will be that. The game is all about gaining territory, and yeah, you kind of get the idea. So anyway, here we are. I'm gonna end the video right here. It's been 10 minutes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. I'll cover more on the in-depth of the Remnant City and how you can walk around in there, and then more things you can do, more things you can build, and the things that you're going to be able to do in the early access mode that's coming out this December. So stay tuned. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Like and share if you enjoyed the video and think others might benefit from this, and of course subscribe and hit the notification button if you are new to the channel and want to be notified every time I post a video.